for the Q3 results. We're here, two of us. My name is Marek Tymiński. I'm the founder and the CEO of CI Games, and David Broderick, who is the CFO for the group. At the very beginning, I would like to apologize for delaying the conference from yesterday morning to today. There were technical problems that were not on the side of CI Games that did not make us able to submit our Q3 results yesterday morning. So we submitted the results after the market closes yesterday. Very briefly on the management team for CI Games. So apart from me, David, Darren is the CEO of United Label. Kirsty is running HR for the group. She recently joined the company summer this year, previously at Rebellion. Saul is the executive producer responsible for Hexworks, or the Lords of the Fallen. Has been with the company for the last 3 years. Aitor joined this year. He is the executive producer for Underdog, producing Project Scorpio and Sniper Ghost Warrior. Ryan is the head of marketing. He has joined the company 2 years ago. He has been responsible for all the campaigns, marketing, PR, publishing campaigns on all the games we launched 2021 and currently working all the games in our current portfolio. John recently joined summer this year, over 10 years at Codemasters, director of global sales. John is responsible for all the sales, all the commercial business for the group. CI Games is 20 years in the business of AAA, AA, FPS, RPG, and other genres. We have 3 main IPs, 6 million copies sold, 5 main locations across Europe, 160 people, over 160 people across the different offices, different locations, and in average 18 years of experience on our management team and directors. And once again, we are established in a AAA, AA space as a developer and publisher. I think very important to add here, we work on our own IPs. All our projects, all our main projects that we are currently involved are based on our own IPs, franchises that have been around for many years and have been successful so far. The only new IP that we are currently working is Project Survive and Project Scorpio, both having potentially high potential in the next years from the commercial standpoint. So once again, we are currently at over 160 people. This is a team spread across different geographic locations, mostly in Europe. We are fully remote in terms of the business, in terms of the development, in terms of our teams. And basically what it means is that in the last 3 years, on any given position that we were hiring, pretty much, we were looking for the best talent, regardless of the geographic location the talent was coming from. And because of that strategy, and because I think we executed that really well, we have been able to really gather a very strong, very seasoned, very senior team across all those different locations, across all our projects, and across our different business units. And obviously, what we have been saying and very clearly demonstrated in the last year and previous to that, quality and efficiency. We are delivering quality products that are having strong Metacritic, strong user score globally. And the key for us as a business is absolutely efficiency. We are absolutely efficient in delivering strong visions at the premium quality that we will, I think, the biggest project we ever had is the Lords of the Fallen, and that will be demonstrated with the Lords of the Fallen. and obviously the next releases as well. All the key projects currently are run on Unreal Engine 5. That is a very powerful technology, and that is also very important in mitigating all the risks coming from the technology standpoint. And I mean, we're very happy developing products on Unreal Engine 5. Recently, we have announced the strategic update. Currently, our strategy is based on 7 pillars. I'm not going to go through all the pillars right now, just very briefly. Pillar number 1, Hex Wars with Lords of the Fallen, and then following by Project 3. Pillar 2 is Sniper Ghost Warrior. It is a very important franchise to us. We'll be continuing development in those franchises, and we already have a certain significant progress in that franchise since we launched the last game middle of last year. Pillar number 3, Project Survive, survival game. We cannot say much yet, but we think that this can be a very important addition to our portfolio, and it's a very exciting genre. It's a genre that grows exponentially in the last years, and we want to be part of that, leveraging the experience and expertise from genres like FPS, RPG. Pillar number 4, United Label. I think we delivered very strong products so far. All of the games have been successful, and we're looking into releasing 1 to 3 titles per year in the next years. We are long-term committed to United Label. Obviously, currently the indie space is very competitive, and there's a shift in the market towards fewer releases but stronger releases, and you can clearly see that through the standpoint of our strategy as well. We focus on less titles and want to deliver quality in the next years. Pillar number 5, Project Scorpio, a very important project for us. We think that we can capture bigger audience with that game than previous titles from Underdog. We have a very experienced team on top of that, and we have experienced management in regards to game as a service, a business model, and we will be able to say more on that sometime next year. Pillar number 6, Project Potential. Obviously, we've been talking to different IP licensors over the last years. We wanted to make it clear this is part of our strategy. We cannot tell exactly when that will happen. We're giving a window here, but we definitely see ourselves in the future working on third-party IPs and bringing our expertise, leveraging our systems, our knowledge into bringing and expanding our product portfolio. Pillar number 7, Project Expand. That's again, we creating strong brands, and we absolutely think that, and we are absolutely confident that those brands can go beyond games, so including other platforms like transmedia. But at the same time, we absolutely know that those brands can go to other platforms inside games like mobile devices or VR games. VR games are not big yet, but I think they're growing, and it's just a matter of time when we want to monetize our franchises on the next new platforms. Financial report, David, please go ahead.
Thank you, Marek, for that. Obviously, I just jumped straight in. Our reported numbers for the 9 months are obviously still quite strong in a year where we have no releases. Overall, our numbers are tracking, we feel, towards the public consensus numbers for the full year for fiscal 2022. I think the bigger piece is really covered here in the next slide when you look at the overall position, which is that, if you take into account the fact that we've been doing some quite heavy marketing or incurring marketing cost ahead of the launch of Lords of the Fallen, and also coupled with the kind of dual listing costs that we've incurred to date, the underlying performance of the business is still incredibly strong when accounting for these exceptional items. strong EBITDA margins, strong net profit margins, and even apart from all of this, strong net cash position as well of 6.8 million, with very little of the debt facility available to us drawn down. So again, good performance outlook in terms of the full fiscal year, tracking towards the consensus and in line with the kind of market expectations there before we go into next year. On the income statement, again, just focusing purely in on Q3 relative to Q2. Again, Sniper Ghost Warriors Contract 2 being the major contributor of sales with just over 50%. Again, in a year where we have no scheduled or slated releases. United Label portfolio, again, continuing to perform strongly as a percentage of overall revenues at 16%. And the overall back catalogue, again, being really strong and providing a good foundation to the overall revenue mix in the period to date. G&A costs, again, broadly flat in the period. Dual listing costs being a part of that. But obviously then, the big significant jump up in marketing costs relating to Lords in the period as we start to prepare trailers, do the launch, Gamescom, etc. All driving up the contribution there. What we've done is we've shown the Q3 numbers adjusted for the marketing and dual listing costs incurred in the period. And again, you can kind of see the positive EBITDA margins in the quarter alone when taking account of that. On the balance sheet and cash, again, cash equivalents just sitting at over 11 million. Total assets increased 11% year to date, basically from our contribution into ongoing investment in game development with Lords, with Survive, with Scorpio and Sniper, all under development in some form. Again, that means that the total intangible assets are in excess of 131 million, net increase of over 50.1, all relation to those projects that we're working on currently. The group debt is at just under 9 million. Part of this is relating to the rental office finance liability under IFRS 16, and the underlying bank debt at the end of the quarter is 4.3 million. Again, net operating cash flows are a product of our investment as we work towards the release of game slate for next year and beyond. And again, the movements there are a function of that. Our net revenue, again, this is just a simple pie chart to show the contribution, what's coming from what in the period. And again, Contracts 2 being the major contributor, United Label providing another portion, and then the back catalogue again underpinning the overall performance. The appendices, Marek, I don't think we really need to kind of go into. Much of this is just the detail on the individual pillars, some color there, and again our traditional slides around kind of headcount and staff mix and footprint in terms of operations and in terms of the business and what we have. I think with that, do we want to jump into the questions?
Yeah, I think that. Thank you, David. I think that's the right time to jump into the questions. I just wanted to say that all our presentations are available on our website. So all the appendices, everything, you basically can look into that and download the presentations in PDF format or a webinar format.
Okay. I suppose just to kick off here and looking through the chat that's coming in, I suppose some interest, just looking for further kind of update around our discussions with strategic investors and in relation to the dual listing in London. I don't know if you want to take the first part, Marek.
Yes, I think that. I mean, obviously, we cannot tell much at this moment. We have been in conversations with a number of strategic investors, so probably a bigger number than a smaller number of strategic investors, as we have seen a lot of interest after announcing the Lords of the Fallen and speaking to different publishing partners as well. But, I mean, not much we can say formally at this stage. We are advancing, and we will be informing through the current reports at a certain level of advancement.
Okay. Just on London, yes, that's something that we continue to work towards. Obviously, at the moment, we've got these strategic discussions which are ongoing. So, again, it's probably something that we're looking into in the early part of next year, as opposed to something that I suppose we had originally expected to conclude in 2022. But the majority of the work is done and ready to go as and when we see fit. I suppose another question kind of tied into this is, are we seeking to raise new money, particularly with the kind of development plans that we have and the situation? I think I'll probably take the first bit of that. Obviously you've seen that we're investing in the business and the franchises that we have. So, again, we're putting a lot of time and effort into that. We've also, put the marketing costs there ahead of the launch of Lords next year. And we'll continue to invest in that and continue to drive on that. And you've already seen the success in terms of the initial reception out of Gamescom. That's translated into a very strong wish list that's seen us break into the top 40. And we'll continue to have a strong marketing beat up to and including the release of the game. So, those are two areas that I think we will continue to invest in. I think it's important to note, we have the bank facility available to us. We have, the underlying performance of the business still ongoing. And we also have, as any business within the gaming sector does, in advance, we need to, and we are doing all our discussions in terms of publishing, in terms of distribution, and in terms of platforms. And I think the early reception to Lords has been very helpful with all of those discussions. And we're moving all of those commercial discussions along well in advance of the release of Lords. And with all the major parties that are there and players in the industry to basically underpin commercially the success of Lords, and also to drive forward the operational success and delivery of the game and launch of the game. And those are the areas that will help support and drive and finance the business over the coming months.
Yeah, so maybe, David, I would like to add here, again, like you said, I think it's important to say that we've been talking to potential partners, across the globe, and there is a strong interest over the Lords of the Fallen. I mean, definitely, pretty much everyone we have been talking to. I mean, everybody is really interested to be part of a potential real success and big success of the Lords of the Fallen. So we absolutely expect advances from our partners. We expect potential deals with platform holders. We don't want to promise anything, but it's, as you said, it's a very typical situation in the industry that when you have a bigger game, then with a strong interest, that there is a lot of potential future revenues being, pre-financed by let's say the generally speaking industry. And I think just answering that question, I mean, it's clear, but let's make it very clear. We're not looking into making capital increase. We don't think we need that. And obviously we are closely monitoring the cash flow, and it's gonna be to a degree tight over the next quarters, but we absolutely think we will be positive on the cash flow side, as you said, through all those activities that we have and that are running currently. Yeah, I mean, looking into in one more aspect, I mean, we are currently over 160 people, and we are not considering expanding drastically the team at all over the next quarters. I think until the end of Q2, we will be pretty much at that size, growing just slowly. And again, this is a consolidation period for us, and the company is really focused on the Lords of the Fallen. I think this leads to another question that I see: which of the 7 pillars of the strategy is a priority for you? I think obviously pillar was Hexworks, the Lords of the Fallen. This is the largest project, and the largest project in terms of the potential, commercial potential that we ever had. So currently, it's absolutely a priority for us. But Project Scorpio, again, this is important project that we can expand the audience versus previous games, and it's also exciting. for us, for the team, I think for players will be as well, to be into a multiplayer kind of a cooperative experience at the very top tier quality. You have Project Survive, that then again, like, it's shaping to be really a strong offering on our end. And then it goes back to Sniper Ghost Warrior. And it's, again, it is important project for us. And there's a question, what we just trying to lead to that question. There was a question on Sniper Ghost Warrior. Basically, just a second. How far along the development was the next Sniper title before decision to switch to focus to Project Scorpio? So first and foremost, it's not really that we switch the focuses, because we absolutely consider both projects important to us, and we just need to move on with all the systems and expertise that we have, and I think at some time in the next couple of months we will have a lot of that ready to be deployed with other internal studios. That is happening now, and with external studios, and leverage on what have been created for, the Lords of the Fallen, currently for Sniper Ghost Warrior, like let's say consolidated in terms of all the systems. And again, it goes back to the efficiency of making games. So it's not really priority one after the other. Yes, we think Project Scorpio probably will be able to reach a bigger audience, but Sniper Ghost Warrior is important to us. And I think it's all about the efficiency, all about leveraging what the company has. And it's always down to the efficiencies, like, delivering strong vision at the premium quality, especially when you're on basically top tier talent studios, what we have. So I think we're very confident on all those projects. And then, slightly less priority as of now is obviously the last two pillars. I mean, we will be looking into a third-party IPs. Probably, we've been talking to different licensors, but we'll be looking into getting to potentially a situation when we bring that IP sometime second part, I would say next year. So it's a little bit less priority for us now. And the same goes for pillar number 7. It is important pillar, but it's a little bit less priority now. We have to make sure that Lords of the Fallen is very successful, and then that will create a strong platform that we can capitalize on other platforms within video games and outside of the video games.
I suppose just one question here in terms of our plans for United Label.
Yeah, I think that it's a good question. So I think getting into tender offer that we placed for United Label in terms of a buyback, I think that anybody who sold could, basically who could also have made substantial profit investing that at CI Games, looking at the share price then and now, and buying back the remaining part is not our priority at this time, right? And we'll get back to that sometime in the future. I mean, absolutely, we don't plan to raise the price of the buyback. But again, United Label is a long-term project for us. So at the same time, we'll be also looking into building further brands like we have built in the last year. So I'm not sure what else, David, you will want to say about United Label. I think you're muted.
No, I think that summarizes the situation at the moment. So I think any further updates we have on it will be via current reports and the actual releases from United Label themselves. So I think that's as much as we can say on it at this point. I think a lot of people, I suppose, kind of interested around the roadmap as we see it for Lords. How we're, I suppose, looking to promote and looking to make it as successful as possible, and how we feel about the reception initially to the game. I don't know if you want to kind of
Yes, I think that we had a great start on the campaign. As you said previously, David, this game became one of the fastest achiever in terms of wish lists on Steam, but also on PlayStation. We're very, very successful, I think. I'm very happy from the wish lists so far. We had a great interest, and it's a great reception basically from all the potential partners that we presented the gameplay to. And so I think it's been really successful start of the campaign. And yes, at the same time, you look into the cost of third quarter and you see a cost of marketing being in the third quarter that in fact is not related to the third quarter. Just to be clear, right? I mean, we don't really have revenues coming this year, but this is the way that you correctly you have to basically place those costs. Place those costs. Those costs have to be taken in the third quarter, and there will be some marketing costs in the fourth quarter. They will not be as high as the third quarter, we believe, but then there will be costs of marketing in the following quarters in 2023. So it's not really demonstrating properly the business, and this is the reason we also sort of like giving a pro forma numbers if those costs are not included into the numbers at the start of the report. It's very clearly indicated there. And in terms of Lords of the Fallen, again, going back to the campaign, we absolutely planning to reveal gameplay still this year. So everything is on track, and there will be another marketing beats in the first and second quarter. It's gonna be more and more intense closer to the launch. So again, we're very happy from what we have been able to achieve so far. The game looks really strong, and we're looking forward to revealing gameplay soon.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I think it's very clear. The underlying back catalogue continues to perform strongly for us. We've clearly indicated, the teams that we have at the moment, we don't see radically changing in terms of the development and what we're doing. And with the initial reception on Lords and what that's driven in terms of interest, both with the consumers, with strategics, and with all the key partners that make up part of the process for any video game company up to and including the release. We see a very positive path forward for the business as we progress, and we'll look to capitalize on that interest, and we'll look to drive it forward into next year, and ultimately make Lords as successful a release as we can, and that will be punctuated with the marketing beats and the promotion and trailers that we'll be releasing up to and including the ultimate launch of the game.
Yeah, I think just a little bit touching here the question on is the company considering entering an agreement with outside publisher or partner for the Lords of the Fallen? So yes, we've been talking to the publishers as well, and we cannot give more specific information. I just wanted to say yes, there is a lot of interest on the Lords of the Fallen. We will run in the business to maximize our margins and maximize our profits coming from the game. There is another question here in terms of, if we can finance all our strategic pillars in the next years, and it seems to be ambitious. So answering very briefly, there is a certain flexibility, especially in pillar number 6, pillar number 4 as well. In terms of how much we would be investing there, and that will depend on the level of success of our future games, including the Lords of the Fallen, right? So there is a certain flexibility across the whole strategy, and yes, we expect strong cash flow post the launch of the Lords of the Fallen, and some pillars like pillar number 7, that pillar doesn't have to really require any major investment on our end. We're not going to be most likely developing mobile games on our own. We'll be looking for partners to take it, and rather this will be a kind of like a co-publishing agreement. VR it's more of a porting but again, it's the usual. The cost of porting to VR are not high. In terms of going to other formats, then again, we may have partners to do that rather than us doing that on our own. So there's a lot to leverage with what we have there rather than heavy invest over those pillars. And if you look into a pillar like with Project Scorpio, so in general, live ops games, there's a strong interest from strategic publishers, strategic investors in general, right? So there's a lot of appetite to be to partner on a game like that. And obviously, it's absolutely too early to say that on Project Scorpio, but there are also a lot of opportunities that we can leverage going forward with some of the pillars, depending on the amount of cash we can deploy to each pillar. But we think very confident and optimistic in terms of making the strategy really work, executing upon that, and building major value upon that. I think that, David, I think that we responded to pretty much most of the questions. Some questions were referring to already other asked questions, unless you see anything else specific that we should be.
No, I've had a look through. I think we've covered most of the major topics, if not all the topics that have been asked. So I don't see anything else there, unless there's anything you want to say in closing.
No, I think we're good, and we're confident about executing upon our strategy. We're confident about our product portfolio, and we're looking forward basically to reveal the gameplay of the Lords of the Fallen. Obviously, it's going to be the first reveal, but it should give some clarity, some feel to what people may expect from the game itself. And we look forward to more appetite coming from the communities, from gamers around the world, and more interest of the Lords of the Fallen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much for coming. And again, the presentations we have are on our website, so please come to our website. The presentations are there in PDF and webinar format as well. And if you have any further questions, then we encourage everyone to ask questions to our IR department. Thank you very much.
Thank you.